Hello everybody and welcome back to my vlog channel. Today is a special day because my boyfriend and his family and I were all gonna go to the Titanic immersive experience or exhibition that they have kind of going on here in Dallas. You can like see things from the ship and they have all kinds of like props and stuff. So let's go and see what this is all about. This is what it looked like when we walked into the exhibition and we jumped right in line. That way we could get our photo taken. They basically have a green screen behind the front of the ship and you can take your picture. Me and my boyfriend did the famous Jack and Rose pose, but he was Rose. And then they gave us a boarding pass, which this little pass basically had a person's name on it and like a little backstory. It also said whether you were in first class, second, or third class. And you basically keep that until the end and then it shows you if your character would have survived or not. So that was kind of fun. But then they showed you this little video about the history of the Titanic. They gave you some rules and instructions of how things were going to work, and then they let us go. And here was the first room. It kind of starts off by telling you how the ship was made, the idea behind it. There are some artifacts of what it would have looked like. Some of them were real and some of them were just recreations. Here was some pictures of how they built the ship and kind of just some backstory. And they also had a model of the ship there that you could take pictures with or take pictures of. Here was the specifications of the ship. And yeah, this whole first room was kind of just explaining how the ship was made. After we went through one or two rooms about how the ship was made and looked at some of that stuff, we went into this hallway, which was the famous hallway that looked identical to how it looked in the movie. And you can take pictures in here. There was a lot of really good photo opportunities throughout this experience. So that was a lot of fun. We got a lot of good pictures. And then we looked at some more things from the ship. These were real items from the ship, some like fine china and different things like that. They had a chandelier from the ship, a door from the ship, and then they had this little recreation of kind of how it would look like when you were in first class. Here is the door that really did come from the ship, I believe it said, and then here was some more plates and the chandeliers and little things like that. We then moved on to the next room, which was the grand staircase, to show how it would have looked like if you were in first class. This was another really good photo opportunity. I got a picture with my boyfriend and his family, and then my boyfriend and I got a photo together. Everybody was super nice, taking turns. That way we could all take our pictures, and it was really beautiful. And then we moved on to see what it would have looked like for the second and third class. This was a replication of how their beds would have looked, and they had gates that showed that on the boat they had gates that separated the third and second class from entering the first class area. So that was interesting. And then here in this room, when you walk into it, it was super beautiful. It looked like as if you were looking out on the boat with the stars and the water. And this was what it would look like on the edge of the boat. Another really cute place to take some pictures. And then we move on to, now we have the ice warning. It kind of goes through the timeline of events and how that all went down. And you basically walk into this next room, which shows you the iceberg, which had a sign that said it was really 0 degrees Celsius, which is actually 2 degrees warmer than what it would have been like on the actual iceberg. So we took some pictures with that. That was a real life vest from the boat, and you can touch it and see if you can touch it. And it was freezing, and I definitely would not survive. After you go through the timeline of events with the iceberg and seeing the iceberg, you go into the next room to figure out if you survived using the boarding pass that they gave you in the beginning. And you basically can find your name on the wall and see if you survived. My character survived, but unfortunately my boyfriend and his brother, and I believe his mom also, did not survive. But after that, we went into the next room, which was like the underwater room. And this room was all dedicated to the history of the Titanic since then and the expeditions that have been done to see if the Titanic could be rescued and the items that have been rescued since then. So this room was all decorated kind of like as if you were underwater with debris and things like that underneath you. And then they also play a little documentary about how they have gone about trying to retrieve things since then. And then the very next room you go into after that is about the movie that was made. This room had some props from the movie and some replications of things that have come from the movie and kind of how the movie all came about and the history of that. And then after that, you go into the gift shop, which was the end of the experience. And this is also when you can look at your picture that you took in the beginning and buy that. So yeah, it was a really great experience and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching.